Hey guys, welcome to another Warframe video, and today I want to go over the most efficient missions that you can do when it comes to farming relics. The build I'll be using throughout the entire video, and the one that I think is the most effective when it comes to simply farming relics, is my Resonating Quake Banshee that I already showcased in the updated build series. And if you want to know more about this, how to set it up, what you need to do, there'll be a link to that video in the description as well as a comment down below. And let me start off by saying that there might be certain relics that are only available from Cetus bounties, like it was the case with the recent unvaulting for Frost, Ember and Loki, where the following relics were only made available through Cetus bounties. You cannot get these anywhere else. However, when or if even this ever happens again, the developers, me or any of the other YouTubers will let you know so you don't go off and try to farm them in other missions where you can't get them. Also, if there is more relics than bounties, then the relics will rotate. So let's just say a bounty will have Meso E1 for 1 day rotation, but on the next day it's gonna have Meso F3. You should also be aware that there are 3 relics, the Neo 01, AXI V8 and AXI A2, which are exclusive to the Barocketeer Void Trader. He doesn't bring them every time, he only cycles them in every now and then, and as of right now you cannot get these anywhere else. And let's just finally talk about farming. So if you want to get glyph relics, I would very much recommend you do Orokin Derelict Defense. Now all you have to do to access this mission is simply go to the market, type in Derelict and then buy the Orokin Derelict Defense Key. This is a reusable blueprint for the key that allows you to play the mission once. Now it may not seem terribly worth it to spend resources every time just to access a mission, but it is very much worth it. The blueprint only takes 1 minute to build, so you can either build them in bulk by just spending some time at the foundry, or you can just start building a new one every time you go and do the mission. Now while the mission is fairly low level, it starts off at around level 25 and a well-timed quake will clear the majority of enemies. You will have to do a little bit of manual cleanup because of Ancients. Because the Ancients have auras that make them and nearby enemies either highly resistant to Warframe abilities or they give them a massive damage reduction. You're not really going to notice this if you're playing the mission normally, but if you want to quake it or something, what I would recommend you do is you wait for the first set of enemies to hit the platform with a cryopod, quake once or twice, and then simply run around and clean up the Ancients, Moas, Broodmothers, and units like that with your weapon. Now you're only going to get glyph relics on rotation A, which are waves 5 and 10, so the best way of farming relics here is to simply do 10 waves, extract and do it again. It can reward you with any of the glyph relics as long as they're not exclusive to either Cetus bounties or Barrow, and while you might get an endo pack every now and then, it only happens very rarely. Moving on to Meso relics, which you want to farm in the mission Io on Jupiter. This is an insanely fast mission for farming Meso relics because if you're running a similar or the same build that I'm running on Banshee, a well-timed quake can one-shot wave 1, 2, 3, 4 and sometimes 5. You will usually not one-shot wave 5 because you get a special unit that will spawn at the end, which is either going to be a combat or a scram burst, one of the bursas or a nullifier. And waves 6 to 10 are generally slower because the enemy spawning will be staggered a little bit, but you can still one-shot some of the waves assuming you don't get one of the special units, which will start to spawn more frequently. Now just like in the Derelict, you get Meso relics here on rotation A, which are waves 5 and 10. So the best way of doing things is to simply go in, do 10 waves, extract and do it again. It can once again reward you with all the Meso relics as long as they are not exclusive to either the Cetus bounties or Barrow. And while you can get a random mod or a little bit of endo here and there, it is once again very infrequent. Now, since waves 6 to 10 are considerably slower than waves 1 to 5, the fastest way to get relics out of this is to actually just do 5 waves and extract, but that is extremely dull and you do need a decent PC so you don't spend like a minute on each loading screen. And finally we have Neo and AXI relics, which can be farmed in the same missions, and the one I would recommend is Zini on Ares, which is an infested interception. Now while you can do this one solo if you're running a setup like this as well, because this setup that I'm running here will stagger enemies on 3 of the 4 points, which even though it's not killing the enemies, it's preventing them from hacking the point. I would highly recommend you do this with at least a public squad, because first of all, getting the points to begin with is going to be a pain in the back. And second of all, you can't really hold all 4 points yourself, so it's going to take much longer than if you're in a party that can hold all 4 points. Now there are some setups that can hit all 4 points and stagger the enemy so they can't hack them, but good luck getting all 4 points in this mission on your own. It's definitely doable, I saw people do it, I even did it myself, but it's just a pain. Now the way you're gonna get relics here is that you are going to get a Neo relics on rotation A, so round 1 and 2, and you're gonna get AXI relics on rotation B and C, which are rounds 3 and 4. It can reward you with all the relics as long as they are not exclusive to either Cetus bounties or Barraketeer, and while you might get a random mod here and there, it is very rare. I was quite surprised that I actually got it while I was recording footage for this video. Now I'm going to throw in one bonus mission just in case there are no open squads on Xeni for you to join and you're not in a clan, or you simply want to farm these relics on your own, and that's going to be Hydron on Sedna, which is a high-level Grineer defense that has a really good tile set and is currently the most popular affinity farming spot, which means there are always open squads for you to join. Now Hydron is much easier to solo than Xeni, and it has basically the same rewards. You're gonna get Neo Relics on waves 5 and 10 and AXI Relics on waves 15 and 20. The tile set is also very small and the enemies rush straight for the cryopod, so you don't need as much range and you can focus more on damage. The downside here is that if you want to farm this in a public squad, you're most likely not going to get to waves 15 or 20. Most people will just leave on wave 10 because of how much affinity you can get in this mission. If you only equip one weapon, unequip the other two, and you have a booster, you can max the weapon out in 10 waves. So what a lot of people will do is jump in with a single weapon, max it out in 10 waves, and then leave. However, this is only really an issue if your setup can't solo waves 15 and 20, because if it can, you can just stay behind and do it yourself. Just be careful, especially if you're running Quake, because you will have to do quite a bit of manual cleanup going from waves 5 and onwards, because you're gonna get Haika Masters that don't take pretty much any damage from Quake, they only take very little, and Noxes, which don't take a lot of damage from Quake and are super dangerous on top of that. So I would highly recommend you stun them with either Sonic Boom, Silence or Quake before you go and clean them up. Though once again, this only applies if you are not doing the mission normally and you're quaking it or, doing something similar. And that's pretty much it for the video, so I thank you very much for watching. As always, I wish you good luck when farming relics. I hope you've enjoyed the video and it was helpful, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.